Uh, this is Kat Myers, and I am here to share with you all. I think I've been talking to people about the fact that it's been on my heart to reach out to teens and young adults, especially in this time of pandemic and corona and isolation. I've been seeing a lot of stories about people reading online to the children, which I think is so beautiful. And I love little children, but it made me think about what about the teens and the tweens and the young adults, and do they need something also? I know talking to my college students that when this first happened and we were told that our school is going to shut down, we're going to move to online. I asked them on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your anxiety level? And half of my students, their anxiety was 7 or higher. Some of them were at a 12. I know that little kids, when you tell them, hey, it's going to be all right, if they're 5 or 6 years old, they believe adults. But 13, 14, yeah, they may believe it, but they still have questions. And sometimes those questions can keep you up in the middle of the night and can stir up anxiety. So it was in my heart to just start to read a book to that age group, the teens and tweens and young adults, just to maybe you can listen to it and it can give you a little bit of peace and calm in a time when the world feels so crazy. So this video, I am not an actress, I am a writer. So I'm going to share with you one of my books, which is age appropriate, called Boy Toy. You can see the ends are kind of worn down because I read this book a lot. I love this book. It's one of my favorite books. There it is. So I'm not an actress. I don't do voices. I just read. So I'm going to read. I don't intend for you to sit and stare at the screen and watch me read. You can put it to the side and listen as you go to sleep, or just doing homework or whatever. I have my little friend George, who's going to be with us as I read. Put George over there, and he'll listen too. And at the end of this, if you want to ask questions, you can put questions in the comments below, or if you want to share how you're feeling, how you're doing with all these different changes, feel free to do so. This story, Boy Toy, is about a girl who ends up in foster care, after foster home, 7 foster homes, and she's on her last. This is foster home number 7, where her world starts to turn around. And so I wanted to share this because I think there are some parallels between what's happening in her world and what's happening in our world. You're going to say, well, how could that possibly be? And if you stick around, you might figure that out. So I'm just going to start with just a prologue for today, and you can keep going because I'm going to keep going until I finish the book. And I hope that it just brings a little bit of calm to your world, and you can just listen and it can just kind of settle you down. So all that being said, I'm going to give you Boy Toy. Prologue, August 14th. Please do not get it twisted. I'm not writing this because I'm one of those cornballs who likes to write in diaries. It's just that the Queen Bee, aka Wicked Foster Mom, took away my phone and unhooked my cable. I've been in this new foster home for less than 24 hours and I'm already on punishment. All I did was say, there's no way in hell I'm going to church with you. And she said, there's no way in hell she's going to allow me to disrespect her in her own home on day 1. She was going to have to set me straight from the door or this thing would never work. First things first, my name is Latoya Sharice Young, but I don't use my last name. I figure the Youngs dropped me, so I'm dropping their stupid last name. I'm not Muslim, so I can't call myself Latoya X. Instead, I've decided to go by Latoya Y, as in, why was I born? Why am I here? Why did you let this happen to me, Lord? I'm 16, and this is my 7th foster home. since being placed in foster care 5 years ago. Man, it really has been 5 years, huh? Since the night in question. That's what they called it in court. The night in question. The night my whole world changed. The night I was saved and forsaken all in one shot. The night Tamika, my mother, celebrated her 30th birthday by throwing a pajama party in our basement. Can you believe that? 20 grown folks boozing and bopping, sweating and stinking up their silk undies with the electric slide blasting in the background. The electric slide. Ugh. I was hoping somebody would call the police and shut that mess down. No such luck. That was also the night when Tamika's live-in boyfriend, Mr. Rick, decided to creep into my bedroom for one more piece. It wasn't the first time. It was more like the 51st time. I lost track. I started trying to fight him. Stopped trying to figure out how to let my mother know. She was too busy spending his money to notice that her only child was having nightmares, fighting in school, and went from an A-B student to a solid F overnight. She was too much in love to notice that her man was slipping out of her bed and into her little girl's bed in the middle of the night. On the night in question, she noticed. He told her it was all a big misunderstanding. He must have had too much to drink at the party and fell into my bed by mistake. Yeah, I was on top of her, but I thought she was you, baby. He pleaded his case practically in tears. You know I'd never do something like that if I was in my right mind. I love that girl like she was my own. I guess we all define love differently. For me, love meant losing everything. For Mr. Rick, it meant taking what you want, when you want it, however you want it. For Tamika, love meant standing by her man. I still can't believe she bought that crazy story of his. But she obviously wasn't the only one. The jury believed him too. Well, part of the jury. We had a hung jury, which is why Rick is still living with Tamika in his beautiful Mount Airy home, and I'm in foster home number 7. Lucky 7. I started out in foster care trying to make the best of it. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. Please. Thank you. Waking up early to get my chores done. I just wanted them to like me. But now, I don't give a damn. Don't get me wrong. Not all of my foster parents were evil. Just half of them. The first one, Mrs. Reddick, was about 100 years old and smoked like 3 packs of Marlboros every day. She cussed like a sailor and her hands were rock hard like she'd been pounding bricks all day. I knew this because she slapped me about 5 times a day. For an old lady, she was fast. One time I tried to duck when she swung on me. I lied to you not. Granny swung around like a ninja on crack. I gave up on trying to run from her and ran to my social worker instead. I begged her to find me a new home. The next 2 foster homes were really nice, but by then I was already tainted. I was mad about everything. Why me? All I ever wanted was to be normal. I didn't care how nice my foster parents were or how big their house was or how much stuff they bought me. I just wanted to be in my own home, in my own messy bed, hanging out with my own crazy friends. And I didn't care who knew it. Once I stopped caring, it was all downhill from there. Drinking, smoking, cussing, sneaking out, sleeping around. Been there, done that. Shoot, I probably invented at least 3 new sins the Bible never even thought of. The thing that got me kicked out of my last foster home actually started 3 foster homes ago. My foster mother back then was Miss Irene, a 45-year-old teacher who lived in the church. Lived in the church. And she also made the best lemon meringue pie on the East Coast. Even though I had been molested, Miss Irene still thought of me as a virgin. She actually believed me when I told her I was studying biology at my friend Susie's house until 1 in the morning. I didn't even have a friend named Susie. Never in her wildest dreams would Miss Irene have imagined I was doing Reverend Frederick's baby boy, Tyrese. Anyway, one night, the pastor and first lady were out of town at the annual convention. Tyrese stuck a bottle of that communion wine from the church and invited me over. Halfway through the bottle, Tyrese broke out the video camera, the same camera his dad used to tape his sermons. I thought he was crazy. Oh, hell no, I said. By the time we finished off that rest of that bottle, I was dancing to slow jams and Miss Irene's leopard print teddy. I didn't know I could get my body to move like that. Actually, I don't remember any of it. The only reason I know what I look like was because good old Tyrese posted it on the internet. Poor Miss Irene nearly ended up in the hospital from all the fasting and praying she did. They removed me from her house when she tried to give me an exorcism. And even though the video disaster nearly killed Miss Irene, it turned me into an instant celebrity. At school, in the mall, everywhere I went, the boys were coming up and asking me for my autograph and my phone number. I felt like a movie star, though I wasn't always treated like a movie star. The girls were always getting in my face, calling me out my name. I knew they were jealous, but that didn't mean I had to take it. If they stepped to me, I stepped harder. I was moved 3 times over the next year and a half, which is exactly why they moved me out of the city and into Norristown, where hopefully no one had ever heard of me or my little homemade music video. So here I am in a brand new foster home in a brand new town. I haven't seen my mother at all in the past year. Well, it's kind of hard for her since she doesn't drive and she hates the bus. Usually Mr. Rick is her chauffeur, but there's a restraining order out against him. Him and his old nasty penis ain't allowed to get within 1,000 feet of me. I guess that makes me feel a little safer. Who am I kidding, y'all? Truth is, I don't know why my mom stopped visiting. And at this point, I don't care. I'm too pissed with my mom to miss her. But sometimes, when I first wake up in the morning, it feels like nothing's changed. I'm still at home with my mom and this nightmare never happened. Then I hear a stranger's voice telling me, breakfast is ready. And I know the nightmare lives on. My mom never fixed breakfast. Oh well, I better go to bed. Miss Megan, my social worker, woke me up at 7 a.m. to get me over here. She's a tiny little white girl who barely looks old enough to drive, not to mention have been to college. She's nice though. We really talk about stuff, though I don't tell her everything. We usually get along great, but this time was different. The whole way over to Wicked Foster Mom's house, Miss Megan was quiet, like she had a lot on her mind. This is it, Toya, she finally said to me when we pulled in front of the house. There won't be any more foster homes for you after this one. So if you can't cut it here, I'm afraid your next stop is a residential facility. I didn't really understand what that meant, but I knew it wasn't good. In my mind, I saw a place with metal bars and padded walls, a place where instead of hot meals on plates, we eat cold cheese sandwiches on plastic trays. Instead of warm beds, we sleep on old musty cots with no blankets. This is my last chance at a home. Lord help me. Okay, so that's the prologue. So you get to meet Toya and see a little bit of her journey. So you may be asking yourself, well, you said that you were going to be able to connect this to what we're dealing with today. And I would say this. Toya is in foster care. And for many kids who are in foster care, It's a situation where one day you come home and there's a social worker or a police officer and they're telling you you have to move, and that's it. You don't have a say. You don't get to decide whether or not you want to do it or not. You just have to go. And that's kind of where we are. One day someone said, hey, you're not going back to school, or you're not going back to work. You may not have graduation. You may not be able to go on that trip to Florida like you wanted to, or you may not be able to go to the movies for a while. And we don't have a say in this. We just have to do what they told us to do and deal with it. So in some ways, our lives have been kind of turned upside down, a lot like Toya. And all we can do is make the best of it. That's my message to all of us today. It's just to look for ways to make the best of it. So for me, making the best of it is sharing this book with you guys online to try to connect with people and try to bring a level of peace and calm to a very uncertain time. So we're going to find out more about what Toya did and how she made the best of it coming. So if you want to know, I say come back and see what happens in chapter 1. Until then, be safe. Know that you're not alone, and take care of yourself.